welcome to another episode of Health Talk. My name is Carly Cole and I'll be your host for this one. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we will be focusing on cancer indicators. When we talk about cancer indicators, I'm talking about complete blood count, blood protein testing, tumor marker testing, circulating tumor cell test, and also biopsy. Now, we went over to Knox Community College to speak to a few persons just to find out what was going on. We wanted to find out if they've ever done any of these tests or just in case they might know someone who have done it. We had some really interesting conversations, but before we get into that, I'm going to give you a little rundown of what a cancer blood test is. Now, a cancer blood test is a lab test that analyzes a sample of blood to search for cancer indicators. The first one we will be focusing on is the complete blood count. Now, a complete blood count is a common lab test that measures the number, the size, and the quality of blood cells in a person's blood. Now, it provides information about three major cell types: the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and the platelets. Preparation of the patient. Now, of course, you have to prep the patient before you do a complete blood count. Now, you have to ensure that they have done no strenuous exercise 24 hours prior to. They need to be hydrated to ensure that the venipuncture is easier. And of course, they need to inform the clinician if they've taken any recent medications, if they've done chemotherapy, if they've even done radiation, because this may affect the blood count. The handling of the samples. Now, you are going to collect the samples using a lavender top tube with an EDTA, which is an anticoagulant. This is to help prevent the clotting, right? Now, you invert the tube around 8 to 10 times, yes, to avoid the clotting, yeah? At third, you're going to avoid hemolysis, and this is by when you draw the blood, you need to ensure that there's minimal trauma. You're going to store and transport the blood at room temperature. Avoid refrigeration unless it is absolutely necessary. When you analyze a sample, you do that within 6 hours of collection for optimal accuracy. Then you're going to, of course, you need to label the sample. You have the patient's name, their ID, and of course the time and the date. Now, how is this test done? Now, this is the methodology. A complete blood count is performed using automated hematology analyzers. Now, these are advanced machines that are designed to quickly and accurately count and evaluate the different types of blood cells. Now, these analyzers use several scientific methods to identify and measure the characteristics of the red blood cells, the white blood cells, and of course the platelets. Now, there are three principles that they use. We have the Coulter principle. Now, this is where the cells are counted based on the size. Now, as cells pass through a small opening, each one causes a change in electrical resistance. The machine detects these changes and calculates both the number and size of the cell. Now, the bigger the cell, the bigger the resistance signal. Next, we have the flow symmetry or the laser light scatter. Now, this method uses lasers to analyze physical characteristics of cells. Now, when a cell passes through a laser beam, it scatters light. Now, this gives information about the cell size, the complexity, and the cell type. Then, we have the colorimetric method in hemoglobin. The hemoglobin concentration is measured using the color changes. Now, the analyzers convert the hemoglobin into a colored compound, then measures its absorbance. The intensity of the color is directly proportional to the amount of hemoglobin present. Now, some of the common brands include the Sysmex brand, the Beckman-Coulter, the Abbott-Seldin, and the Mindray. Interpretation of results. Now, we have the platelets. When they're low, there's a risk of bleeding, and it is common in chemotherapy. When they're high, you have inflammation and some cancers. For the differential count, abnormal lymphocytes or blasts may indicate blood cancers like leukemia or lymphoma. Now, with the white blood cells, when they're high, there might be infection, inflammation, or leukemia. when they're low, chemotherapy effects or bone marrow failure. For the red blood cell, hemoglobin or hematocrit, we have low, anemia, which is common in cancer, bleeding, bone marrow suppression. Its significance to health and illness. Helps to detect anemia, infection, bleeding risk, and bone marrow. It is essential in diagnosing leukemia and other hematological cancers. It monitors treatment effects during chemotherapy or radiation. It indicates bone marrow suppression or disease progression or even complications. Last but definitely not least, it guides clinical decisions to transfusions, medications, and supportive care. Now, as I mentioned before, we decided to visit Knox Community College. Take a look.
And the study fee, if you test tomorrow, well, cancer indicators.
You know, so I don't know nothing though. I don't know nothing either, you know. I have to just go on and study right now.
Especially the one about tumor maker, something like that.
Imaka?
Yes, that
We didn't study nothing.
No. And that's tomorrow.
Morning.
Alright, so I'm Tony Angel and I'm from the journalist department. And I overheard you talking about your upcoming exams and the cancer indicators. Alright, so you know about the tumor marker test?
Yeah, we're supposed to have that process, but
No. Alright, so may I give you some information? Alright, so the tumor marker test is a lab test that measures proteins, antigen, hormones, or enzymes. And they can be produced either by cancer cells or any cancer cells present in the body. And these markers are found in the blood, urine, or any type of blood sample.
Alright, so how you do this at this, you know?
How you do it? Alright, so basically it's all just simply a blood test. So first the blood gets drawn and then you carry it to the lab for processing. What they do is them separate the blood plasma. After them do it, them put it in a necessary tube. After that now, they use an immunoassay method, more than likely the ELISA method. So this now detects and quantifies the cancer cells in the sample. Just collect and quantify the cancer cells, so it's easier for identifying what is going on. So after that, you do the reporting. So after you test the blood and everything, you collect the results and see what's going on. You notify the doctor, notify the patient. That's all.
So what are some ways in which the results can be affected?
Alright, so there are quite a number of ways it can be affected. We can look at biological variations, which can include age, your gender, or even pregnancy.
And what about the range?
Alright, so when you're interpreting the results, the range is very important. So you know what information to pass on to the doctor and doctor to the patient. Or first, a normal or within the range. And this is likely where it is saying absence of significant tumor activity. Another absence thing we look at is elevated or high levels. This is where a possible tumor is present. Last one is usually low or below reference range, and this usually is not of clinical significance.
Thank you very much. Hi, pretty lady, me can say something?
Good afternoon.
Yeah, good afternoon.
I'm walking around the campus here and I'm interviewing some students. So I would like to know if you have ever had any encounters with cancer, or if you're a cancer patient or whatever.
Why? You know, see, last year me go through this though.
Really?
Yeah, last year me have some abdomen cancer, some stomach cancer.
Okay, so you know, is
Yeah,
that
man, me have to know it's basically something where you take tissue. So when the man say tissue, me you say, you pay so much money for your test toilet paper. But the man tell me say, no, some muscle where then must take your sample from and then put it under microscope. So me I say, okay, that made me understand a little better.
okay? So how was the preparation like? How them prepare you to do the test?
Yeah, so first and foremost, they have to tell me about it is, cause my brain not too good, me not too understand. So they tell me about it is, what is biopsy and something, and then tell me which part them I do it. So like how I in my stomach, me have the stomach cancer, so they have to do a abdomen test. So after that, now me tell us me starving a girl. Must be 6 to 8 hours me can't eat nothing because of how my abdomen them I do it. So me have to starve for a long time. So after that, now. Yo, normally I feel take so any type of medication I take. Like me have the blood pressure, so me have to cut off of that. If you have any blood pressure or diabetes, any of the medication there, you have to come off of that. So them they are basically what we have to do.
So after the preparation I do your test, how long was it before you did get your results?
Why so so me have to ask the doctor before because me did well stress, me did just have to know the results. So when me did still in I have to see me tell me about the type of thing when I have to do say it take a while. So I tell me say after I take a sample, I have to make sure say in care go lab quick because it can spoil. So you know say I have to write my name on something funny because you know I mix me up with nobody else. So that I have to do. You have to write your name, you have to write your date and all of that important. And then hurry up and care go lab. But even if you hurry up, you have to be careful. Because the sample them very fragile. So he might tell me all of them things there. And I tell me some results have to come back in a couple of weeks. And I say, Lord God, it's so long. But he might tell me say, yeah, he might tell me say you have to lucky because if I did some other type of biopsy it would take up to months. So you have more than one type of results. So when mine did good, mine did normal, but different peoples you have different results. You have benign lesions, you have abdominal growth. But that the one day in a really dangerous. Yeah, you're just abnormal growth, but not really cancer. You have malignant lesions, you have inflammatory disease. And my friend Beverly, him did have the autoimmune disease, so she did get the cancer, she get it full blown. But thankfully mine did alright, man.
That's good, that's good. So with all the way you got through, were you happy with your results?
Well,
Sorry to barge in, but Miss Patsy,
oh gone.
can I get how much for your Doritos? You have any Doritos?
Let me check there. Let me go and check. But not, of course, me have to happy. Me have to happy so me take a biopsy. You know, one thing with it though, it helped me with my peace of mind because the whole time me did them, me a worry me. But the biopsy, it tell a specific difference between all the different bumps them and if a actual cancer bump you have. So that's a very important difference. And it also it help you with tell a different approaches. And say biopsy is specific like that. It make you know what you have to do. But you know me alright, so me still lay a look for girl Doritos. Me good man.
See Doritos. Thank you. Then Miss Pat, you never know say I did do cancer test.
Yeah man, last year me tell us me go through hell man.
No say we did have my mother. They do a cancer test do. Long time.
Come here so come tell me what going man. I mean never know say somebody else go through all of this.
You know say my mother did have stage 4 cancer though. And she did have to do a cell test, you know.
So which test that she do?
I think them call it the circulating tumor cell test.
So what kind of test that now?
So I think them say for this test now, it's to like detect and count the cancer cells
Okay.
that have been like broken away from a tumor,
Okay.
and now it's moving through the bloodstream. So it basically helping to like detect like how the cancer is progressing and responding to her treatment.
Alright, so this is what your mom go through. When she was in the hospital, she did overhear like doctors talking about how them undo the sample or anything?
Well, how the test is done, it's similar to like a blood test. So they take our blood and you know they will put the blood in like a specialized tube. You know one of them tubes? And so, you know, I do my research because you know stage 4 is very serious. Yeah. So after doing my research, I saw that after they take this blood test sample, they keep it at room temperature. So you know they don't refrigerate it or freeze the sample. And the process it took is about within 24 to 72 hours. But this depends on but it depends on like the tube type. And you know, say like when they're transporting it out, they have to avoid vibrating it and shaking it.
I see a man for me. Yeah man, so it's for me biopsy one. You know say I'm not in a deep or nothing. So I'm to for Miss Beryl, how that go?
For Miss Beryl one now, it's to detect like the progress of the cancer because remember say she already have the cancer.
Yeah man.
So this test is basically just to detect the progress of it.
Okay.
And when I do my research now, I found like some steps involved. So when them do the test now and collect the blood sample and everything, they will go on to basically isolate.
Oh, so when you say isolate, what do you mean? You lock up yourself?
No man, like they separate it to identify the circle.
Okay. So
Yeah.
like Beryl and your father, they separate. So you know, two different hosts and something.
Yes,
Okay,
yes,
man.
yes,
Yeah, man.
like that.
Mm.
So like, let me tell you about the steps them now. So first them would like separate it now. So the blood sample, it have to be processed first. So them can divide it into the different components.
Yeah.
So you da isolate me like separate the white blood cells and the possible tumor cells.
Okay.
Alright, and then after that they will detect it. And after detection, they will identify it, and they have different dyes that they can use to identify it.
Here they.
No man, like them here is like some deep scientific dye. So they have like the cytokeratin, and that marks like the tumor cells. And then you have something they call it DAPI, I think. I don't remember, but that highlight the cell's nucleus. And the next one CD45 or 45 marks white blood cells.
Okay.
Alright.
So based on all of that now, how exactly then interpret the results?
Yeah.
So you have positive and negative results. So my mother now she get the positive result.
Thank God. So Beryl, alright, man.
No,
Lord.
no. That means that the circulating tumor cells were detected in the blood. So negative would mean that no circulating tumor cells are found. Alright, so this is my story now.
Alright.
I have to get back to class.
Yeah. Yeah, pray for Miss Beryl, man.
Alright, so later. Thank
Later.
you.
Alright then, Miss Patsy. It was nice talking
Yeah,
to
oh
you.
yeah, buy something, man. Support me, man.
Alright.
Excuse me. Good afternoon. So I'm here doing a report about cancer tests. And I just want to ask if you've ever done a blood protein test.
Yes, I've been diagnosed with bone cancer, so I've been doing multiple tests. I just should I did a blood protein test.
What is it? What is the blood protein?
A blood protein test it has a simple definition. As the name suggests, it basically just measures the amount of protein in your blood.
Alright, so I'm not sure if you know this, but how was the procedure of the test though?
So well, me took up my enough cells, and I went to the lab. Right, I didn't go inside. Right, I just stood outside and looked through the glass. I saw them with something that looked like at the base of a blender. You know that? Right. So it looked something like that. I saw them basically just separate the serum from the rest of the blood. You know, the serum is formed when a blood clot happens. Right. And then I saw them with something that looked like a small washing machine. Right. I don't know the names of these things. Basically, they were absorbing the amount of light coming from the different solutions in the machine itself. And another one was a pipette. I know that for sure because with labs, we know that. So they use the pipette now to measure, to get accurate measurements of different solutions.
Do you know how the doctors tested the blood?
Yeah, these are the two different methods they use. One called the Biochemistry method and another one called the dye binding method. The Biochemistry method basically, it measures the amount of protein concentration in the blood. And the serum sample is mixed with that Biochemistry reagent. Right, that's how they test it, and a color formation occurs at the end of it. Right, and depending on how bright the purple looks, they know how much peptide bonds are in the blood, and that's very important as well. The second method is the dye binding method. They use two different dyes, the BCP dye and a BGP dye, I think. Yes, those two. The serum sample is mixed with a reagent containing a specific dye and pH.
Based on what you've been through personally, do you see any significance of this?
What I can say, I asked the doctor about it. He said it's to really understand how my body is, what's going on inside, how is it functioning, anything functioning out of the ordinary. And so, yeah, that's really important of it.
Camp. Thank you. Well, there you have it, guys. We've been here today on the North Community College campus with some interesting conversations about cancer tests. If you didn't know, now you know. Back to you in studio.
Thank you so much, Tony Ann. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. If you didn't know, now you know. Once again, my name is Carolee Cole, and I've been your host for this one. Walk good.